Welcome everyone. I don't know if you remember, maybe last year and a half ago, we had a high schooler come in to talk about NFTs and tell us how to do all that. Well, Ken Harper is his father.
Hello.
And so we're colleagues at Syracuse, and he has now introduced me to another person who is going to be our guest tonight. So I've worked at similar places or with similar people. So we had an instant connection, and he just works in commercials and short form and music videos, and I do feature film and TV. So slightly different, but similar crews. So I'm going to pass this over to Ken to introduce our guest and maybe himself.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Ken Harper again, associate professor at Newhouse in the Visual Communications Department, and I do run the Newhouse Center for Global Engagement. But more importantly, I'm friends with Naotaka Minami, who everybody's known as Now, and everybody's seen his bio, no doubt, from the email. So I'm not going to really get into the nitty gritty here. You know, he's worked at the Mill and more recently a new agency called Parliament. And he's done crazy fancy stuff like with Taylor Swift, and that's awesome. And he's going to talk all about that. But I met Now over 20 years ago in a small town in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where I was studying photojournalism. And we became fast friends. And we both moved to Louisville, and now started working as a designer, doing a lot of museum work, and has gone on to do just amazing things. And one of the things that just really blew me away was Now's humanity, as he's gone through these various phases in his career. Now, you know, I was thinking, and I'm going to really hand this over to you, is how did you get to the United States and to Bowling Green, Kentucky?
Hi, I'm Now. Just Now later. It's the same thing as Now. You know, it's easy to pronounce. I am a creative VFX supervisors at small post production house called Parliament. Just kind of like 2 years old, very small. We have office in LA and New York right at the moment. And I'm originally from Japan. So, you know, the Japan, I grew up in the Kyoto. Have you ever been to Japan? Anywhere? Anybody? No, not yet. Japan, I grew up in the Kyoto, Japan, right? Where it's like middle of Japan. Very look like a Boston, kind of like a Boston in the US. Very old city, a lot temples and shrines in there. But most of the time I didn't study. I just spent most of the time in the social life and all that kind of thing. So by the end of the high school, I didn't want to do I didn't want to go to college because it's like, you know, a lot of people going to college and just wasting their time drinking on the weekends, and they don't have any job in Japan. So, you know, I think I just wanted to go to the technical school. So, you know, when I think about technical schools, I like about design, interior design, architecture, photography, whatever. And my uncle said, why don't you go to study abroad? So I was like, okay, maybe I did. So I started going to ESL after the high school, and the English is the worst subject for me to study. No matter what I do, I don't get more than D level. I don't know why. But so after I went to ESL, I just got lowest scores as possible to go to the college. And, you know, when I decided going to the college, I don't know, you guys born there at that time. It's 1995. which is like, no internet, no, everything is communicated by no cell phone. So it's like everything is communicated by, your house phone and bookstore. So if you want to go to study, it's like, or you want to find something information, you go to bookstore. So after that, I got like lowest score as possible. Maybe I can go to community college. I go to bookstore and decide maybe I'm gonna go in Southern State because I'm very social person, so like in a way. So I wanted to go to somewhere I don't want to meet any Japanese person because if as soon as I gonna hang out with Japanese persons, I'm not gonna study. I want to study. I want to change my life. So I went to bookstores and I just started looking at the Kentucky first. And it's just like there's like 200 schools there, but going down on the list, and I just found the one school that it just barely I can get in. So, no internet applications, anything. I just write down, get the application forms in the hand, fill in, send it back. And I think I tried 4 or 5 schools, but that one was the first one that came in and I accepted. I got accepted, so I just started going to that school. I mean, it's just I didn't know anything about school, and I guess it's like you guys decided. I'm not. I'm not the kind of person that very good with like research, and I want to go. If it's like something door open, I just jump in. That kind of person. So, something opened it up. I can go to like, college in the United States. So I just gonna go. I don't know. Have you ever been to the Kentucky anywhere? Anybody? So if you go to, so the school I went to, it's called Bardstown, Kentucky. It's called it's Dry County in the near Louisville, Kentucky. If you go there, I mean, you can see it on the map if you do Google. It look like a forest, nothing around you. So I got like 6 million people city I went to 300 people population city in the middle of Kentucky. That's how I got into there. Um, and I just studied there for 2 years, just trying to get in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to study like design. And after that, I went to the Western Kentucky University where I meet Ken at the college party. When we just talking about photography, and I like photography. So we just kind of asking him about what equipment I should buy and all that kind of. That's where I started in the Kentucky. And I just, I had a job right away. I don't know where I should go from there. Yeah. But what you say? What you were trying to say, Kate?
Huh? Oh, I think it's great. I think it's interesting, like where you started and how you got into college. And then, yeah, I think that will lead us right into your presentation pretty well.
So let me start maybe slideshow. Second. Hold on a second. Let me get to the
It's kind of like the chaos theory of the development of the beginning of your fledgling career and how you started on that path. I thought was just really interesting. And it's funny, I've known now for over 20 years, but I just heard this story for the first time 2 weeks ago when he came to be a coach at our design workshop. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Somehow I'd never heard this story. I like the randomness of it.
Hold on, sorry.
You're good.
Check it out. Okay. Share this. Do you guys see the screen? Or presentation screen? Uh-huh.
Yep. Got you.
All right. So, sorry, I like that picture. So I just wanted to show. So I am. So you guys heard that it's like, I was born in the Kyoto, Japan. That's where I started. And I got graphic design degree at Western Kentucky. And I just start working at it's a company called Solid Light. I never ever pronounce because it's the L is in there. Japanese person cannot pronounce L or R right away. But anyway, so I started working for the design firm. Its company still exists. They still do we started as a graphic design company. And the interesting part about that company was my employee, we started in the attic. We only had three persons in there. And now there's 60 people. But I'm always joining a small company at the beginning. And she used to be painter for the California Raisin campaign. Maybe Shannon know, maybe Ken know. It's a California Raisin campaign. Is that it's a raisin character, dancing, singing, and it's a big in the 80s. I didn't know anything about it, but she was a painter for the campaign when she was in the 20s. And that was before the Photoshop came. So she was painting all the billboard, paintings and characters, all that things in airbrush. So it's just fascinating, like how your skill set is worked. But it's I got job from her, and I started working with her as a designer. We did a lot print, a lot graphic designs in the internet, web design, and ended up to be the exhibit design. So I kind of got into that, thinking how to build in a 3D space. That kind of started getting into my interest in I didn't know how to use the Maya or Cinema 4D, anything like that. Everything I do was by hand. Like I just kind of draw structures over the exhibit by hand and just kind of making the front and sides and top views and all that kind of things by hand. So, but I'm very more like a fine art person. So I like that way. So that kind of got me to the interest in just decide I'm gonna go into get master's degree at the Pratt Institute. And after saying I'm gonna start working at the while I was working at the not working, sorry, studying at Pratt Institute, I got a job as a runner at the post-production called the Mill. I don't know if anybody, I mean, I didn't know until I'm gonna start working at the Mill. Some people knew, but I was working at there making coffee. Runner, do you know what runner is? Kind of things, yeah. It's just like you do whatever they ask for. Clean up toilet. If somebody throw up on the floor, we clean up. I used to every day. It's like when I joined at Mill New York, there was 80 people. So I always prepares about over 100 people's buffet by myself in every day in 15 minutes, collect all the dishes from 3 floor utensils and all that things, and line it up, look like a restaurant buffet. And you clean up 100 people's dishes, people coming in, drop in the kitchens, you just washing it, put into dishwashers and take out clean plate and all that. I did it about 10 months. And after 10 months and my visa start running out, for the international students, you have like optional training visa, I think it's called OPT. So you kind of have to think about how to get sponsored, how to get job before your optional training visa is running out. When I did it, when I applied for it, I was still in the school. I finished the program. I just didn't turn it in my thesis project. I just was buying time to see, what's out there. And by the time it's after 10 months of running, it's my visa started running out. I got about 3 months. By the time, like, I was, for me, like, it's my personality wise, I don't care what kind of job I do. I just do 120%. Making coffee, preparing dinner. It's very professional way. I used to work at the restaurant stuff too. So it's just like presentation is important, how you present somebody's dinner, client dinner, whatever. So I got in pretty good positions and people just count on me as a runner. And, whatever I do is like very professional way. So after the 10 months, it's about time, it's like my visa is running out. One of EP executive producer came to me saying, hey, now, do you want to go to shoot like as a PA, help out LA? And I said, sure, I don't have to run, and then they said, well, we're going to pay you. Now, I didn't expect it's going to get paid. I got for free. Money doesn't matter, I think you want to be involved in a creative thing. So it was a 2-day shoot in New York. I went to everywhere in the New York rooftop where you can't even imagine you can go, like on the top of the courthouse, or it's by the Rockefeller Center where you can see the Spider-Man they shot on the gardens on the top of the rooftop and all that kind of thing. So that I couldn't even go, even though, if I don't have access to it. So I enjoyed so much. It was a 2-day shoot, but the artists, VFX supervisors on the set liked it so much that it's like I got extended to the 5 days. And then during the 5 day, I got introduced to the ECD, Executive Creative Directors of the mill. And he heard about my name and he just interested in it, how much, how much I'm committed to these companies and all that kind of thing. I'm not the kind of person kissing anybody's thing, I'm not like that. I'm very like against those kind of things. So I want to be respected by what I do and how I work. So, but he kind of interested in my work, my personalities, in my work as runner. He, asked me if he can review my work. So I was doing a small project, and he saw my work and saying, hey, now I want to fix this, tweak this, and just come back to me in 2 weeks. And his name is Angus. He doesn't work for the mill anymore, but he opened up his own company called Playmakers in New York. It's a pretty big one now. But he said, just come back in 2 weeks. I want to see the revision. And I said to Angus, it's like, Angus, I'm probably not going to be here in 2 weeks because my visa is going to run out. So he said, okay, all right, I'm going to talk to the MDs in the company and fix this issue. So he just kind of like went up to the MDs and then he fixed these issues. I got sponsors like the next day. And I kept running a little bit more, like 10 more, I mean, a few more months, and asked me to move to the 3D. So that's how I got to 3D GD artist at the New York. And after that, I moved to 10 years ago, I moved to Chicago to open up a new office with 10 more people. We just celebrated 10th anniversary. And I left the company as a VFX supervisor last year. And I started joining a smaller company. It's because I wanted to explore. I wanted to learn like you guys. I stopped learning, not like stop learning. I couldn't learn it. Nobody teach me anything. And because I was there for like 15 years, nobody argued with me. Nobody corrected me, anything. So I just kind of need to be moving on because I need to keep evolving. I need to be humble and self-motivated. So I left like last year to learn about who I am again, and what I can do, and then how I can improve myself. So yeah, that's where I am right now. So it's very interesting stage for me. Working from home, you see, I work in the kitchen. I tell my mother that it's like a prison. It's behind me. There's like a bedroom there. So I work between the bed and my desk every day. So it's like I'm staying here all the time, like you guys probably. Anyway, so that's where I am. So see if I can. So I show you what I have done a little bit. And then maybe I just talk about a little bit more about how to get into the job and all that kind of thing. I just gonna show maybe one, two as a supervisor. Maybe I do interesting things. Maybe this is like the one last year I did it for the Super Bowl.
Barbie really wants this dream house. It's got stunning views and a slide.
Barbie's ready for fun.
So cool! And Barbie found out about this dream house with an alert from Rocket Homes.
She did?
Well, it's a super competitive market. Everyone wants to buy the dream house.
Better offer Betty.
I'll go 10 over asking.
Cash offer Carl.
Straight cash.
House flip for Skipper.
Let's tear it to the studs.
You vultures! You're gonna start a bidding war!
This is less than ideal.
Oh no!
Don't worry, Barbie has a verified approval that shows her finances are backed by Rocket Mortgage. So Barbie wins!
But we need a house.
Oh, I found a fixer-upper castle on Rocket Homes.
It has good bones, but really bad neighbors.
I like his vibe. Get your dream house all in one place with Rocket Homes and Rocket Mortgage. For a better way to find and finance, Rocket can.
Thanks for helping.
No problem, it's good for my glutes.
Okay. Maybe one more. This is very more VFX heavy, just a little bit long, sorry. But let me show you this one.
Does it get better than never getting lost? Does it get better than not parallel parking yourself?
Alexa, ask Smart Feed to feed the dog.
Does it get better than feeding your dog from 50 miles away? Well, actually, yes, it does. At Buick, we're dreaming of a future that is more harmonized with your life. A future where your Buick starts the day just as refreshed as you are and can adjust to match your mood or even your outfit. Imagine a world driven by technology that can see more, sense more, and connect more.
Zen mode activated.
So your life is simpler than ever before. Imagine a world where your Buick knows the latest forecast and can react accordingly, even if you forget your umbrella at home. A world where your Buick won't just help you drive, it'll drop you off.
Auto valet engaged.
And even park itself. At Buick, we see a future that's even better because it's built around you.
Lights romance setting.
Because the life-enhancing innovations you've never even dreamed of Buick is dreaming of them every day. Come dream with us.
Okay. Let's talk about a little bit about work. The project is kind of interesting part. I worked both of them. When we got with this job, I was working at the mill in Chicago, and this Super Bowl spot came. Super Bowl spot is coming in first week of February, I think maybe. That it's like when Super Bowl is happening. Usually, that's the biggest time of the commercial industry. And this one came after the New Year's, which is usually coming in beginning of December. So it came in late. Rocket Homes and the agency came to us and saying, "Mill, help! We need the people working on this." And then they went to Frame Store as well in Chicago. But Frame Store creative director is like, I don't know, I need more money, and blah, blah, blah. I don't like this kind of creative. So agency used to work with Frame Store and just drop and say, I don't want to work with them because they are not nice to us. So they came to Chicago, Mill Chicago, and we didn't know anything background behind that, but it's like, most of creatives and producers like, what can I help? What can we do? It's like how much you got budget is, and let's find out what we can do for them. So as soon as that meeting, they say, you guys got it. We're gonna find the money. We don't have much money for this one, but we trying to make that thing happen. So ended up making that things happen, and I was called to go and shoot on set, and just working with directors. And for this job, like we did designing the Barbie doll face. There's 2 characters in here that is,
Has a verified Barbie has a verified approval.
Supposed to be, we designed like Barbie's face, about 50 different Barbie face. Ended up we only used maybe 1 or 2. It's because the Barbie, the company owned the Barbie, didn't like the idea, even though they're the one who came to us. So we ended up like designing other characters, like this character. So we changed her face a little bit in the 3D. And this guy, for example, this is completely face replacement. Carl and Betty, this Betty character. So it's very interesting, like how each character is like designed to match like the type of the realtor or different type of realtors, and then he's paying for the car, is paying by cash to real estate around. So we designed those characters and they placed it in a spot, and they were it was very interesting because this is kind of like a first time I was working with the actress too. What's her name? Anna Kendrick. And she's very smart. She's very funny, and she's very kind. And it's like she was very workable. It was interesting timing as well, is because it's like pandemic. Everybody wearing masks, and it's like you shouldn't be staying with like these actors and actors, but she's the one who's staying in the warehouse on set, and then talking to directors, and then talking to DP, and then exchanging the idea to make it like this commercial is better. So it was very interesting to see that, and I think this one became like #1 last year at the Super Bowl. So it was kind of like, and it ended up like agencies happy. They start working more jobs coming in for us, And I think they did this year as well with like Rocket Mortgage. So this is good job. I would yeah, I can mention about that. And this one was this most of car commercial is it's very fake these days, you know. About 98% is car doesn't exist right on the film. It's like every year, so you get like 2024 car model, but it's on the film, it's 2020 car model. And you kind of have to replace it. And this one was like concept car that the Buick came out before they announced it on the showcase. So it was very interesting for me. For this, I was lighting artist, and it was New York job. And I had to come up with like how it looked, especially the car commercial is the harder one is headlight. If headlight doesn't look good, it's just not great looking. So I had to come up with like how to let this car, for example, this one, it's nothing there, it's girls just walking by. So I had to kind of think about like how to add shadow to the car, how to blend it into the environment, and how to get reflections and all that kind of thing. So it was very fun. It was pretty nice because I got nice shot. Like for example, this is like a nice framing of the cars, and it was very. I mean, as an artist, like I like to make a beautiful pictures as well. So it's kind of nice work to do. But anyway, so let's talk about a little bit of Korea. Sorry, went too far. It's coming to that. You guys can see it there. So just, you know, if you want to interested. So career-wise, where and how do you want to start your career? In my case, I started as a runner. I had a friend who worked at the mill, and they said there's like, you know, running positions open. Do you want to make it like, you know, $10 an hour? I said it's fine. I had a full job when I was at grad school. I had a 2 job at the grad school. I worked at the SIGGRAPH, and I just started working at the mill. I think it's hard to build a network when you're in the school. I mean, it's like most great network you have is your friends now. Just make sure you're friends with everybody. So, you know, because you're gonna be believe it or not, in this industry, it's very small. You know somebody, you know somebody your friends know, or it's like, so just like, you know, you guys are already as a team. So your network is there. Sometimes you can meet with people at the school event, friends or maybe family. And you know, something that you want to consider is like, I guess you guys want to work for the movie industry. I think most of the people, or commercial, TV. No, don't know yet. Yeah. So something to think about it, where you want to start. I mean, you know, I think it's like it's great if you can get a job as, you know, DPs or I mean artists, you know, production assistant. But if it's not, you know, don't think it's a bad thing that's like starting as a runner. It's like if you got started as a runner or intern, your foot is like in the company already. And then after that, you just need to prove you're already there. And then you get so much attention from other people. So, you know, that's the other way to do it. So, you know, I recommend being runners, internship, apprentices. And if you can get paid job as a junior artist, that's great. But a smaller company versus large company, I worked for the both company. The previous company that called the mill is huge. It's about, now that they have 11 offices around the world. When I started, it was only London, New York, and LA. And we opened up Chicago. We opened up in India. So, it's a fairly huge company. It's about 5,000-6,000 like artists. And in Chicago, it was only 20 people. But it's like in New York, you had like 100 to 300 artists around you. Very competitive, but it's also I like the mill because everybody was so nice. Make me think it's like I'm back person. Kane has like the t-shirt. Mill made a t-shirt of my portrait, describing like how I critique people's work, which is kind of like a very mean way to do it. But I, just if you're lucky, working for large companies and everybody's very nice, it's great because you got so much exposures and you have so much learning opportunity there. But if it's like, the company that is very more corporate, you might not gonna enjoy it. A very small company, they kind of work as a team, looking after you all the time. So I think, me, it's personally, I like the smaller company. Even though, bigger company was nice too. And it's like, I just mentioned it, it's like sponsorship, it's green card, visa, working permit. If you're an international student, just kind of like plan backward. Just a little bit of like how you're gonna get it. But it's also I just kind of, I got lucky, so I can't say you should do this, you shouldn't do this, for the visa wise, because visa is very hard, very expensive. When I was in the Kentucky, so I pay my visa a lot. When I worked for the new company called the Mill, I didn't have to. Because they had a like a lawyer that would take care of it. That's the benefit of like working for the bigger company too, because they can looking after the international students a lot too. So that's kind of different thing. But I can talk about that if you guys, some international students like you have here, and if you have any questions, I can just kind of answer some of stuff later. Next one. So if you get into the company and first 2 years, what's gonna be like is probably a lot excitement. Be excited to work on the actual project. Everything is like every day is like new stuff learning, but they're gonna be it might be disappointed some of stuff because you might not doing something that you don't want to do. It's because could be skill set. It could be because you're working environment, and all that kind of thing. But you're gonna learn so much from it. My recommendation is, you show your commitment and just keep yourself like working hard, showing potential. Because if you got like a right employer, they will look after you. I started my 3Ds pretty late. It's like, most of my coworkers and friends started working 22. I started 3D 32. So I was starting late, and so it's a little bit different, but I had good boss before who looked after me trying to raise my salary, even though I didn't say anything about it. Could be because like I was not worried about money. If I'm good, they can pay for me. I think they will look after me. I just kind of trusted my employers, even though Mill is kind of a little bit big corporate company. But I got lucky. So that's that. And it's like first 3 years is not about your skill set. The you know, I don't know everybody here, but it's like your skill set is probably considered maybe half of it. You know, it's good to know about, you know, everything what you do, and then you're learning about softwares and all that kind of thing. But it's not just that. I think it's like it's important thing. She's like, you know, how to work with people, how to be nice to your teammate, work together, because you know sometimes like you don't know what to do, and then the person who can help is your teammate. You know, whether it's gonna be, you know, junior guys or senior guy, it doesn't matter. So you know, first year, 2 years, like a lot, just observe around you, trying to learn from other people, be humble, be proactive, and trying to learn about communication. You know, how to work with people. That's the first 2 years, and after that, you like that time you'll find out like what exactly you want to do. You know, you want to go be an artist, or maybe you want to be a producer, DP. Um, what else is like it's like, you know, the post-production part of it. There's so many different ways you can go, but it's the first 2 years kind of like that part. And it's my recommendation is that like a lot, you know, I train so many like younger junior artists at the mill. I don't even know why it's like they put younger ones under me all the time, but you know, a lot of students coming, you know, most of students, just you know, working at the mill, my experience was everybody's smarter than me, way smarter. That is like I feel stupid talking to them. That kind of smart people that, you know, sometimes you see in the real world. And you know, when you see that, you just don't want to be like, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm good. I got so many awards in the college. Not many people care because it's like what we care about is like delivering jobs, make sure the client, agency, directors like your work. It doesn't matter. It's like how good you are. Nobody care about how you get there. They only care about final product. So important to, you know, internally it's important to develop your ideas and the concept and all that kind of thing. And that's the fun part as a team. But, you know, first 2 years, like my recommendation is you don't need to prove how smart you are. Because, you know, I think it's like, because if you're smart, they will find out. You don't need to show, you know, just that's the kind of my recommendation. It's like I see so many college students like come out and it's just saying failing that way. Just kind of they're gonna go to have a hard time. So my recommendation is not try to have a hard time. Yeah, that's my recommendation. But if you have survived 2 years, after the 2 year, I worked for a company 15 years. You know, there's up and down. I'm sure there's so many up and down there. You get so many disappointed day, and how you keep up with. And you know, I think it's TV, movie, commercial industry is a very toxic environment. You know, you work long hours. I mean, I work so long hours that you know, whole company think it's like I'm the working so much. That I'm the like most hardest working artist like at the mill. Um, which is not great, I think. I mean, if you're in 20, you can, you know, maybe like a 5 year, 6 year trying to build your career. But my recommendation is trying to balance your life. You know, I think it's just like, you know, just decide how long you're gonna work, 8 hours. I mean, you know, that thing is like you can't just say you work 8 hours and then it's like I'm not gonna work, and it's just dragging the, you know, other teammate is working long hours, and you can't get job done, and it's like you know you miss the deliveries and all that. You can't do that as a professional. Um, but trying to balance your life, like find not try to work like after 12 o'clock. You know, focus on like 8 hours or 4 hours. And it's like, you know, remote is very hard. I think it's for me. I think I love it at the beginning, remote work. But I think a remote is very toxic sometimes because you ended up like working long hours, you know, and it just kind of decide like, okay, I'm gonna work until 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And then after that, just kind of step away a little bit. And if you still need to do some more work, you just come back. But maybe like different, changing different environment, you're going to, you know, school for change or work from like friend's house or something like that. And try not to be always working, you know, and like watch yourself about like what you eat, what you drink, and all that kind of thing. It can be really unhealthy. My experience at Milk Chicago 10 years ago, 2013, we, um, you know, fan company asked me to go to the Milk Chicago to open up with other 10 people. For 3 weeks, I worked, there was like one big cheesy job and for the craft, you know, dressing company. And we worked from 8 in the morning to 2 o'clock night. So how many hours? Like 16? No, more than that, right? 18 hours or something a day for 3 weeks, including weekends. So it's about 20 days, 21 days. Because we only had 8 machines to render 30 second full cheesy commercial. So we are so stressing out how I'm gonna deliver this, we can't miss it. And the last day, well, 2 days before the delivery, I just saw him a couple days ago because we had a 10 years anniversary, but we were joking about people get heart attack at the desk and die. And, you know, and we were just kind of talking about it. And in the 22nd, he just started saying, oh, and I thought he was joking. And after that, he just fell on the floor. And, you know, bubble come out from the mouth. And I thought he was going to have a heart attack. And, you know, I was ready to do the CPR when he stopped breathing. I didn't know he was having a seizure. But it was so intense moment that it's like I thought about my career. You know, I just stopped working that day. I know we have to deliver in 2 days, but I told the producers I can't work anymore today. I come back tomorrow, work, but not today. So I had a half day off, you know, that's great. It was nice. But I had that kind of experience. And, you know, you see sometimes like in news, it's like, you know, in Canada, you see like movie, like actually it's like it's the mill, Toronto, somewhere, a Technicolor, maybe, you know, die, commit suicide and all that things because depression. So it's very important to keep your life, you know, healthy life. So, you know, it's the same thing as teaching, the same thing. You know, if you're working hard, you're gonna get ended up. So just kind of make sure that you kind of keeping that in your mind, even though you're young. I know you guys are very young, in your 20s and just started, but you know, you're gonna go into think about 15 years and 20 years. You know, make sure that you got right, you know, either it's like standing desk or you got like a chair that you can sit, just elbow. I mean, I got elbows like hurting all day, you know, but it's like something like that. It's like, even in 20, you don't think about it, but when you're 40, start showing up. or 50 to get worse. So very healthy life, working environment is good, very important. Sorry, it got maybe intense about that part, but so that's the way it's like how it's, right, just that's the kind of thing is when you get to the 10 years from now, all that. Is there any questions at this point? Sorry. China is laughing.
Awesome stuff now. Really appreciate it.
It's kind of sorry that it's kind of intense. It's too personal story maybe, but
No, I think it's
yeah.
perfect.
Is there any I can show you guys more work a little bit. There's two pieces I want to show, but at this point, like you guys have any question that you want to ask or you want to
Maybe,
good?
yeah, looks like we do have some questions. Go ahead, please.
Go on.
All right. You're muted.
Yeah, Mariah.
Hi, was that me? Hi, I just I was wondering in your experience, especially when you think back to starting out, how hard is it to kind of find an environment or I guess there's a company that really has those ideas of maintaining healthy working habits. Is that something you find is like prioritized in the industry?
No, I mean, when I started, I didn't even think about it. I guess it's because I just love creating things, and I just like making beautiful things. And when I was younger, I think about name. I want to get prize. I want to get like Oscars or Emmy Award and all that kind of thing. And thinking about it, so I didn't think too much about it, but I think our older generations, younger generations is working differently. And I think it's like now it's like learning from the mistake in a way. So that's why I'm just keep telling the younger, just keep in mind that for like healthy, balanced working environment. And also it is hard because like more competitive it is, the company that you work for, like it's like high names like NPCs or French stores or DreamWorks, Pixar and all that. Other people work hard. So if you want to stand it out, want to get promoted, I mean, it's just kind of like that's kind of balance you need to, but you can also find the same things like in a small company. So I think it's my option, like my recommendation is like keep your eyes open, like not trying to get like high name all the time. You might find it's like best experience in like local post-production. There's so many small post-production does great work as well, even local. So those places a little bit more healthier environment. My recommendation, I think, than like very like corporate big one. And it's you're young, you can get different kind of job all the times, and you can switch your companies like every 2 years or so. One of my friends who I met at the mill, and he went to Pratt Institute. I introduced him to the mills, and he got a job, and he kept saying he's Korean guys, and he kept saying like he only stay at the company 2 years, and then he moved on, and he did it, and he's now at the lighting supervisor at the weather, where they do like avatars and Iron Man and all that thing. So I think it's weather is pretty felt very healthy environment they have, I think. But also I know that like they have intense smoking as well. I mean, Shannon probably know, right? Movie company.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they are healthy, but
but you should know, right? I think it's
Yeah.
like, that's the kind of thing too, that until you know it, you don't know how's that like, and you can't decide where you want to go to, you know? So it's hard. I mean, you know, I want everybody to be in the working in a healthy, nice environment, but until you try, you just don't know. So kind of, you know, try it, don't hesitate it, and if you don't like it, just move on, you know?
Yeah, I started off small at a small boutique company to get used to the industry and the type of working day and working long hours and getting my feet wet. And then I jumped to the largest company in the world. So it's like, I found that the best path for me, and now is doing it the opposite. Started out big and now you're going small. So I think at different points in your life, you're ready for changes, and it's whatever's right for you at this time. I see 2 more questions, and I know we're at 9 o'clock. So if you
Oh,
need to,
sorry. Yeah.
if you need to start heading out, that's okay. But we're gonna answer these questions, and then Ken has a little bit to say, and if anyone wants to see a Taylor Swift thing, we might be able to show that as well. But anyway, Jacob.
Hello. Thank you for the talk. That was very helpful. My question is about, it's job related. At Frame Store, they have a summer apprenticeship paid internship thing. I'm wondering if the mill has anything like that, if you know.
Mill, I think Mill does that too. I mean, it's been like year out, but I just checked the last their website, and they had an intern, not promised one, but it's like, I think it's like they started doing the internship there a couple years ago, so they get paid, I think.
Okay. Is that, do you know if that's going on this year and the applications are open, or is that already all taken up?
I think it's open. Yeah, it's still is on the website, so check there out, I think.
Cool, I will. And if anyone knows already and wants to drop a link, that would be cool as well. Thank you.
It looks like Max has it and is putting stuff in the chat.
Cool.
Melise.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, since you start as the runner, how did you stay motivated not to stray away from what you want? You know what I mean? Like, if you, I am working right now, not even close to what I want yet. So I was worrying that I would be demotivated and stray away and forget the goal that I want to do, you know what I mean, and get comfortable with the current job. Yeah.
I mean, when I started at the runner at the mill, I didn't even think about like working for these companies or not. I'm just like, I like making coffee, so I like cooking as well. So it's like, you know, it's just like seeing the people getting pleased by like, you know, awesome latte that I make or anything like that. So I didn't even think about, I want them to like me so that I can move up, you know, to they say like, hey, now why don't you move up to like 3Ds and start working as a team? But it also gave me time to think about like, about learning about company. And it's also, by the time that I didn't even want to move up because it's just so intense. Like when you get like deadline, you know, it's like, sometimes like I had like in the I was at the mill in New York, I working until 4 in the morning and there's nobody's in the building, but I keep working because I got 2 hours deadline I have to hit, you know, something like that. And then sometimes kind of get miserable. And I've seen that thing is like a runner. When I was a runner, I seen those stuff. So I wasn't sure that it's like I wanted to, you know, like move up. But my like working kind of method is I just focus whatever is given. Like if it's like a runner position, I do 100% best. Because that's the kind of process that it's like, post-production is offer. Apprentices or, internship, I do the best job there. And if they like my work and the commitment, I, it's like, maybe I'm too naive, but it's like, I believe that if I do a good job, or if I work with other people is really good, they're the one who said like, hey, now why don't you move up and work for us. So that's always been like that to me. So I don't know, but it's like I work a lot because I like working, but it's also I work a lot because I'm not talented. I believe in that all the time for last 20 years and so since I came to the United States. So, I think there's no guarantee when you becoming runners or juniors or anything like that. But if you don't give 120%, you're gonna regret it anyway. So my recommendation is just like don't even think about future, just take care of everyday things. If you became like everyday thing, and but if you're looking for the new jobs and now that you're not happy where you are, and maybe you start looking for new ones, maybe it's gonna fit. But unless you try really hard, you just don't know. So you working for like design department? I mean, design companies or what kind of you?
Yeah, I want to be in the post productions, but currently I'm working for a news agency, and I like my work is adapting the productions from English to my own language in Khmer. So I didn't really do much post production work, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to be in journalism, so that's why I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever you get experience now, it's not wasted. I think it's like, I think, and it's also your mindset. Like it's like I always tell my teams and especially young one that I work with is, whether you're gonna be cranky or you're gonna be unhappy or you're happy or not, you're doing the same job. You have to do this job no matter what. So it's for me, it's like I want to be happy working on this. I just set my mind like trying to be positive about it, not thinking about too much about, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. I just want to try and enjoy the work I do. And I get better results. I think that's the kind of things that it's like my, that's why probably it's like I work in this industry it's like a long time because I don't try to think too much about like what's the bad part of this one. I try to be positive about it. And but it's like a balance. I think it's like if you're not happy about it, I think you should like start looking for a new one that where it's opportunity. But it's what you do right now, I think it's not going to be wasted either. It's some days it's come out as like as a good experience.
Yeah, but I think in the current industry, as for me as an international, I cannot even get a job as a runner.
As at the post-production company?
Yeah, I try apply a lot of position like runner, but I didn't get any.
Okay.
So it's even hard.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty international person, so I know. I mean it might be just like you keep trying, I think keep trying. You get job if it's like it's open if there's opportunity. But there's 100 people that applying same job too. So yeah. Is there anybody has any question? Good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I might be a secret Swiftie. I don't know. I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying I'm not. So, I mean, I know you've done some stuff for Taylor Swift,
Yeah,
and I'm sure other folks would be interested in it.
yeah. Well, let's
Do you
show
mind
it. So,
sharing a little bit of that? A
Yeah.
little bit of the Swiftie love for folks?
so this job came out last year. We did 3 spots. And just you know, don't take pictures of screen if you don't mind, because what I'm showing is like before and after. Doesn't exist on the internet, so please, just me. It's just like requesting. Um, and this one is came out like this year. The last one came out lavender. New one coming. People is working on a new one. But I had this opportunity like work on this one like last year, like around summertime to the December. And even the one shot is like I'm taking photography of the one buildings in Chicago. And they use that as like plate. So it was kind of interesting. What I'm showing is like before and after. And it's kind of quickly just like you're going through. So if you have any questions, just let me know. But it's interesting. Oh, sorry. It's interesting like how much work it have done. Which one should I start? Joe? Maybe. This is a little bit, Joe is a little bit more VFX heavy. Anti-hero is a little bit more like a 2D heavy. So that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Now that was great. Yay!
It's a fun job. I think this one was. I think it's like a lot of people who worked on liked it, especially the. I didn't lead any job or anything like that. I learned. I did a partial leading job for the lavender phase. I think this one came out like a couple months ago. These 2 spots. I only worked on the jewel as a 3D artist. There were like the diamonds flying around. I did lighting for that and lighting and rendering. But I had opportunity to take a photo of the one building which they used outside the Chicago building, and the matte painting on top. So that kind of thing is just like very different skill set. It's kind of, you don't have to be an artist. You know, I love photography, so sometimes you get the chance to take a photo of those kind of music videos, you know, backgrounds or something. There's a lot of Photoshop going on in here, a lot of design, and it's so much work. But we did 3 spots in a month and a half. Between the normal job, because I think this one wasn't that it's NDA job, so that it's like it's, you know, people couldn't talk about anything and different names. It's like, you know, project and a very secret job, but a lot of people enjoy. I think it's working on this one, and I think it came out pretty nicely. Yeah,
It's awesome. What I answer one last question from Sam. Sam.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed your work and the presentation. I just had a quick question about the whole production of the music video. I'm really interested in. So the project, it's normally, is it how they like reach out to you, that they gonna like come up with the idea themselves and give it to you, and you come up with the ways and schedule and how like put them together, what to do to make people like small or big, or like, can you just a little bit talk about the process of how you go for the shoot of it?
So music video is different, right, from TV commercial. This case was like, I think she reached out to us through our friends. The owner of our company, he used to be working at the, you know, Mill LA, and he's like creative director for a long time. I think he knew the agencies or Harvard because Taylor Swift directed this one. So he doesn't know her like directly, but it's like through her friends or something that's like they just said, hey, there's a VFX company here that's gonna be good for it. And so that's how we got the job through him. And when they shot it, I think she had some idea and sketch. You know, like there is a one shot that showing a sketch, for example. So like there's always like storyboard like this. There's like always storyboard this. And they, you know, this is a shot that I shot in my 5D in a photo, and they just made as a DMP. But so they have a like storyboard somehow, like, you know, I want this one to be happen, I want this one to be happen, and all that thing. But for the CG part, like for example, like this thing, it was blank. She didn't have any ideas, and I start working at the previous for this shot, for the jewel, and she was open to it. She's like, I want to see what you guys can do with this shot. So we just start doing this and that, and it took about 2 weeks before the deadline. Until 2 weeks before the deadline, it's like she start liking that what we doing. So there's like a lot of like creative input that it's sometimes happen. Some director is like they know what they want already, and they tell you what he want or what she want. But Taylor Swift, this case is like she was very open to it. She kind of has some idea to like what she want to do, but it's like she, you know, because I don't think she's like VFX person, and I think she started directing not too long ago. I think she just did like couple directing job like before this hard music video. So I think it's just kind of a little bit more interesting thing. It was very intense, like in a way. But it's kind of came out pretty nicely, you know.
Thank you.
Thanks now for the incredible.
Sorry for taking a long time.
Oh no, brother. I think you laid down some great wisdom for everybody. And one of the things I just wanted to kind of end on, besides just a gracious thank you, is the thing that really strikes me about your career is no matter if you're cleaning the bathroom or you're working for Taylor Swift through the middle of the night, you're bringing joy. You're like doing it joyfully, not begrudgingly, right? You're not bringing anger to it. And, you know, you shot this picture of me and my firstborn son, Rio, and then made a high key print here, or high contrast print for me. And it's been sitting next to my bed for the past, well, I guess 17 years now, almost 18, because my son Rio is almost 18. And I think about these simple things. I think about this before I think about your work with Taylor Swift for obvious reasons. But the point being is you bring that same joy, you know, to what you're doing, big and small. And I think that's just like you're bringing it. You're not waiting for anybody to deliver it to you, you know. And I think that's just really words to live by, and a great example for people in any career. So
it's a hard. I mean, I'm human. I think the same thing. But it's also I'm human. But it's like also, you know, like even like I meet so many. This is like I enjoy VFX because it gave me opportunity to travel to India, London, you know, LA, New York, anywhere. It's like you guys fancy. A lot of people going to Paris, South Africa, America. But it's a great part, but it's very hard. So it's very hard to be happy all the time. But you know, sure. I think but you guys same thing. You guys probably have a friend or professor always trying to be positive and happy, try and help you guys. And Keynes, for example, like I know him for 30 years. The reason that he's my good friend of mine for a long time is like I look up to him. He has so many things that I don't have that I want it. So I kind of want to try and just steal it, part of the good part from him and trying to be mine, I think that is like, and it's like, no matter what, sometimes you have to do your job, whether it's gonna be your grumpy or tires, and trying to be positive. And then just that start change. It's hard. It's taken me 10, 15 years to get to where I am now. That is like trying to be that stage. But I think it's everyday practice is change as well. And I think trying to, and it's come back to you. If you do very nasty to other people, it's gonna come back to you eventually. And then trying to be nice to other people, it's opened up new doors for you eventually. It might not, it might not gonna happen, but it might gonna open. And it's gonna be that's what it is because you can't do your job by yourself. You need somebody help you. It's the same thing as like life too. I'm not getting here. It's like without by myself. It's a lot of people help me where I am. So yeah,
Facts.
just keep in mind.
Facts. Now, Shayna, thank you both for including me in this conversation.
Yes, thanks for joining us. So if anyone here would like to connect with you, is LinkedIn the best option for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
just like, if you have any questions in the future, if you want to check your portfolio, if you want me to, if I have, I try to connect my new company to you guys and as well in the LA. And if you have any questions, just ask me. And, I can't guarantee that I get your job. Unfortunate thing, but it's like maybe it might not lead to somewhere that you might want to go, or it might open up other jobs, but just kind of keep in contact and just, connect me through the LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn has like email address in there too. I have email, Gmail that you can ask Dana if you need it. But yeah, if you're interested,
He's
in
very
connected,
responsive
please.
on LinkedIn.
I try. But yeah, yeah, and ask me any question, and if I can, if we want to ask, if you want to ask, if you don't have to, so cool.
Yeah, thank you again so much. Now's looking to stay connected with us, so maybe next year he'll be back, show us some
Hopefully
new
I can
stuff.
do better, shorter versions of it, like
New
like an hour.
topics.
New topic, yeah, new project.
More Taylor.
Yeah, might be.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna stop
Thank you very much.
recording.
Thanks, everybody.